Oh, hey, yeah. Don't ask what's going on there. Nothing was going on in there. I was just in there for the effect. So today, on today's video, we're doing something new, something different, something outside of my norm, people. We're baking. And we're baking desserts for Thanksgiving. We're making a brie cheese raspberry filled puff pastry. Brie cheese. But we're also gonna do a cream cheese version of it. Say which one tastes better. What you'll need is 1 egg that you're gonna beat with a tablespoon of water. It's in there, promise. Puff pastries, you need to thaw this so you can unfold it, cut it. You're gonna cut it into squares that you're gonna put into here. I use the silicone one. May not be the best because it's a little flimsy, but it actually helps in the end when you want to pop things out. They're easier to get out. So what I do, I'll put it on top of this. That way, it's sturdy when you go put it in the oven. Because this is flimsy. Not the easiest thing to do, move when you're, yeah, all that good stuff. You'll need raspberry, jam, preserves, jelly, whatever you want. Preferably, oh, it's still wet. Preferably a little brush so you can brush the egg onto the puff pastry when you're about to put it in the oven. And some spray. So you can spray down your tray. This isn't the best. Don't recommend this one, but it's the only one I had and I forgot to buy a good one. So, but any kind of spray that you can use to grease your trays would be awesome. Preferably find a good one or your preference, whatever. You know, if you like this one, go for it. Okay. Nothing. You know, first preheat the oven to 400 degrees. So on bake. Stand by. Bake 400. All right, it's preheating. So that preheats. We're gonna undo this. So you're gonna take out your puff pastry. Usually come in a thing like this. And you're going to open it up. You may want to, you don't have to, put a little flour on wherever you're gonna put the puff pastry, just to make it, you know, non-stick. Just a little bit of flour. You don't have to, you know, it's a preference. I did just because, you know, I want to. It does kind of come already with its own little flour on it, but just to be sure. So it comes folded like this. You unfold it. Take off the parchment paper, you don't need that. And then you take the other parchment paper, you don't need that. And voila! So, cut it into squares. Now, really, it's about, we'll say, 2" by 2" squares. So you want to cut it 2" by 2" squares. You don't have to be exact. I mean, honestly, you don't. Kind of your preference, how big you want them, but I presume the smaller they are, the harder they are to close. So you want to get a pretty good size. That way you're not struggling in the end. I may struggle, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I said, first time. I ain't no professional cook. So, cut them. Cut them. We got some small ones, people. I ain't gonna lie to you, we're gonna struggle. So you're gonna want to get these squares right here and put them in here. So just kind of push them in there and make a little cup. So you want to make a cup like that. Cup. And once you do that, do all that, we're gonna cut the cheese. Funny, huh? On these small ones, you can probably stretch it out just a little bit. Not too much, you don't want to rip them. Just to give you a little more space. Because I did cut them small. I told you I was gonna cut them small. All right, so once you made your little cups, let's put them on the middle sheet now. That way we don't have to worry about it later. So once you've done that, you have these little cups here where you're gonna put the cheese. obviously, to fill this tray that I had to use the second sheet of pastry. So, you know, if you want to use it, if not, you could have just, if it's just for you, you could have just done one. But if you weren't going to share, you may want to, you know, buy a couple more. So now we got the brie cheese. Now, I'm not a big fan of cheeses to begin with. There are certain cheeses I like. There are a lot of cheeses I don't like. Brie falls under the cheeses that I'm not too fond of. Not fondue, but fond of. Be careful when you do this, by the way. But, you know, we're gonna use it because that's what the recipe calls for. Now, I don't think you have to take this white layer off. So we're just gonna go with it. I'm gonna cut it up into smaller sections, like this, to be able to cut into even smaller sections to fill the cups. So let me finish cutting the cheese in a good way, not in a bad way, people. In a good way. Remember, if you're gonna cut the cheese, cut the cheese. Don't cut the cheese. And there. So now, cut it into these smaller sections. Now we can cut them into small little squares or pieces that you're gonna put into each little cup. I would suggest, my own personal opinion, to keep the cheese in the refrigerator as long as possible because it seems to be very soft, and I feel like if it gets to room temperature, it's gonna be very, very soft. Because I mean, this has been in the refrigerator, so, and it's already soft. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I'm not an expert on brie cheese and how it works, so my opinion. It's a little messy here because it's very sticky. You know, as I'm doing this with you guys, I'm also watching the World Cup, trying to keep up with the sporting events going on. Has been kind of a disappointing World Cup for me. My teams aren't doing too well. My team yesterday, Germany, lost to Japan. I mean, nothing against the Japanese. I mean, they play good football. You know, I've seen them play over the years and they're good, but Germany was supposed to, you know, avenge the performance from last year, and they did not avenge anything. So, all right. Once you have your little pieces of brie, put them in the pastry, just in the hole. Put the cheese in the pastry. Now, if they're small, like I said, I think I said this earlier, you can kind of stretch your pastry a little bit, just to get a little more coverage. So, you know, don't try to do too much because it'll tear and then you have a tore pastry, puff pastry. On the bigger pieces of puff pastry, I'm putting in like bigger pieces of cheese. Just makes a little sense. Smaller ones, I'm putting in smaller pieces of cheese. Now comes the raspberry. So you want to get like that. Just a little bit, like I guess a teaspoon is what to say. I'm using a tablespoon, but a teaspoon of raspberry. We forgot one. A teaspoon of raspberry, and then you'll put that on top of the cheese. So, obviously, it's to preference. The more, you know, if you want it to be sweeter, I guess you can put more. If you don't want it to be too sweet, you don't have to put as much. Also, probably the size of the pastry will help. And the last one. Ta-da! All right. So now let's remove this part because we don't need that right now. We have the pastries. Now it looks like this. So what you want to do is close them up, pinch them together. Bring in the four corners and pinch the four corners together. That way it creates a little pouch Some of these that are smaller, you're gonna have an issue with. But, you know, that's what I say, you gotta cut to your preference. I don't know. This may be a new segment on the channel. Cooking with Honduras Doug. What's he up to now? We'll see. Comment below if you want to see more cooking videos. Honestly. I mean, if you do, I'll do them, but this is kind of just out of the whim situation. I was going to make these anyway, so I figured why not make them. The last one, no. Pinch your puff pastry. All right. So you want to get your egg. And your teaspoon of water. And you want to beat that. And if you have a brush, go ahead and use your brush. If you don't, well then, I'm sure you can come up with a creative way. Maybe like with your fork or something. So we're going to put the egg wash on top of the puff pastry. So I realized I didn't show you me spraying the grease into this tray, but just know that I did. I just forgot to press the record button. Sorry. So yeah, so just dab the egg on top of the puff pastry. There. Once that's done, kind of looks like this. See, they're a little closed. One of them is not so closed, but they're all mostly closed. Now we stick them in the oven. We're gonna do 25 minutes. 20 to 25 minutes. We're done. Let's see. Recommend using one of these. Don't want to burn your fingers. Woo! Woo! Yay! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ooh, Nelly. Look at that. That's deliciousness. Ooh, they smell good. Huh. Stop. They look and smell delicious. Now we gotta try one. Obviously, be careful. Because they're hot. Let me use my mitten. Safety first, people. Delicious. Oh, oh, oh. Hot. Definitely hot, but good. So, I hope you like this video. If you want more cooking videos, let me know. I'll come up with something. I can probably do a Honduran cuisine style cooking video. Something simple, you know, something you can do at home. But if you're new to the channel and this is your first time, it's not a cooking show. But if you want more, let me know. If you've been here before, welcome back. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. Ding, 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 ding. I need to get a bell. Ding, ding, ding. So you're notified of the next video. And we'll see you in the next one. Yeah. 2 thumbs up.